regarding the transparency and coverage ruling, the goal of a lot of these laws that are all coming together is to improve transparency and an understanding of what the heck are we paying for at the end of the day, right? And unfortunately, we have a lot of folks that don't even know the basics of what their rights are. So in addition to this ruling, we have heard about the No Surprises Act, right? Regarding surprise billing, so on and so forth. But we find that there's still a lot of mud, right, as far as the clarity of the system. Most folks don't even understand that there's federal rules outside of these laws and IRS regulations that are meant to protect you. So here living in central Pennsylvania, for instance, we have quite a few hospital systems, right? UPMC, WellSpan, University of Penn, Geisinger, Hershey. You go down south, Johns Hopkins. How many people are aware that if you're under 300% of the federal poverty limit, depending on your demographics of you as an individual, regardless of insured status, you have a right to no-cost care at any one of those facilities? Nobody. Why is that? They don't pay city, state, local, federal, or property taxes. The IRS caught wind of that, not just a few years ago, over 6 years ago, and said, you now have to provide care back to the community in order to justify this not-for-profit tax status. Wall Street Journal came out a few months ago, analyzed 270 hospitals that were not-for-profit. A whopping 260 were not providing enough care back to the community to justify not paying city, state, local, federal property tax.
UPMC coming in as the fourth worst in the country with a $600 million deficit of the value they're provided by the tax exemption versus the value they're giving in charity care.
So where's this an issue? Well, when you're writing off what care you are giving at these gross inflated charges, it's not really fair. And we as taxpayers should be pretty upset. We as plan sponsors should be upset as well. Once again, it's the way the system's been constructed. So a lot of what we're doing here is some de-education and re-education. But we're starting to get towards, I don't know if you call it a mecca, but I think a better way of doing things. But it's not going to happen overnight.
That's right. And so one of the things, some of the hospitals are putting the pricing sheets up now, right? And so if you're going to go to the hospital, you should check and see if the prices are there. And it's never easy to find, but if you type in standard rates or negotiated rates, then if they have it, it'll pop up. And you can see, well, one thing that we've noticed a lot of plans get upset about is they're like, why is the cash pay price cheaper than my negotiated rate? And that's the case at like almost every hospital in the country is if you're cash pay, you would actually get a cheaper rate than what your insurance company gets for you or your administrative service only administrator gets for you because, there's an acknowledgement that a cash pay individual probably has less resources, I guess. But the No Surprises Act also came with a new rule. So you have to put all these together and hobble like a little bit from each law. But the No Surprises Act gives you the right to say anytime you want, I don't want to use my insurance for this claim. I want to be self-pay. So you're free to do that and then say, okay, I changed my mind when you see the bill or get an estimate. But you can do that if the prices aren't posted, if you want to know, what would the cost be if I wasn't under this plan? And you can then opt, if you would like to proceed outside of your plan. And if you're in a ERISA benefits department, a good thing to think about is how can we help employees who want to do this with reimbursing them to do this so that it lowers costs for everybody? Because if that happens, then our plan could save millions of dollars a year and everyone could get raises. So there are lots of things now that these prices are becoming available on a hospital. This has been like the best part so far is when there are hospital prices to check because it's never what you think it's going to be. And you're always like, oh my gosh. And just, calling your ASO at negotiation time and saying, why would I re-sign this with you when the cash pay rate is so much lower at the 3 area hospitals we go to? That's a really strong leverage renegotiation point. So use any hospital prices you can find. They're awesome.
Not that we look for gotcha moments, but we have a lot of those, which is fun.